My name is Brian and I have a Becker's Nevus birthmark. Let's talk about it. So before I dive into the attributes of what a Becker's Nevus is, let's just do a little bit of show and tell, and I'll show you my birthmark here. Bear with me here. Okay. So, as you can see on my left abdomen side, you can see my Becker's Nevus birthmark, and it's about the size of my hand sideways. So about 7 inches wide, maybe 8 from here to here. But yeah, let's tilt the camera back up here, and let me put back my shirt. Okay, so what is Becker's Nevus? Just a little bit of background. So Becker's Nevus is a type of birthmark that appears mostly on males, mostly in the upper or lower torso or back or shoulder area during puberty. So before puberty, it may not be... My shirt's backwards. Before puberty, it may not even be there. It may be very light. Mine was only 1 or 2 shades darker before puberty, so you couldn't really see it unless you were looking for it up close. Once you hit puberty, it gets much darker. It can also grow with your body as it grows during puberty. It may spread. The shape is irregular, so it's kind of more like a splash. But the good news is it's mostly benign. I don't want to make a blanket statement and say all Becker's Nevus birthmarks are benign. Definitely have more dermatologists in your life give you that answer. But you don't really, there's nothing really to worry about from a health standpoint. There's no symptoms that come along with it other than it being hairier than, the rest of your skin. Sometimes the hair on the birthmark can be thicker or more dense which is generally the case. But yeah, nothing to be worried about from a health standpoint. And it's more of a cosmetic thing. It may affect people's confidence. For me personally, it definitely did affect my confidence just growing up. I mean, going to the beach, I would always cross my arms or take pictures sideways or not even take off. I mean, some people don't even take off their shirt. So a lot of people watching this video probably have never even seen me without a shirt ever. So definitely affected my confidence, but I've kind of grown up and I'm at the point in my life where it's like, yeah, I've tried taking different approaches and I want to talk about these approaches because if you have Becker's Nevus, this video may help you in your life. I don't know. So this is my experience with Becker's Nevus. But yeah, the good news is nothing serious, just a cosmetic thing in general. So your first and easiest option for a Becker's Nevus birthmark is to do nothing and to just embrace it. Don't care what other people think. It's easier on paper than actually having that mindset. But yeah, it's something where you don't have to do anything about it. Just rock it, and that's the way you're born. It's literally your DNA making your skin hyperpigmented, and just rock it. Now, if you're like me and view it as an imperfection and I'm kind of self-conscious of it sometimes, and sometimes you're not, there are some options here. So let's talk about if you want to go these routes, and I'll tell you kind of my experience if there's any negatives to these routes. But the other routes you can take is to remove it. So dermatologists, it's kind of a taboo. I wouldn't say a taboo. Not every dermatologist is want to go the remove it route. The way they would do that is usually with a laser, specifically a Q switch laser. Definitely if you go the laser route, I highly recommend for your medical professional to spot test it, which means test a very small area to see what happens to it, because it can get darker with lasers and instead of lighter. Another downside is, there's something called recurrence. So basically, because it's your DNA making your skin that color, even if you do laser it, X amount of sessions and pay X amount of dollars, in 10 years, it could just go back to the same color because it's literally a hyperpigmentation in your DNA. So, yeah, for me, I did spot test it with a Q switch laser. It made it darker. So I opted out of, I've given up on any removing or lasering. But it is an option that you can discuss with your dermatologist. So, yeah, results in general may vary. It's not like a proven thing. But yeah, talk to your medical professional if you do want to go that route. Another option is to camouflage your birthmark. So that's, basically matching the skin to your other skin color. Or lightening the skin with makeup. So that's a route I've also taken. It takes a lot of technical makeup know-how and a lot of time and effort in learning your products. Also, my perspective on lightening your skin has totally changed. I just feel like for me, it's like, yeah, lightening my skin in any way. I could see if it's a birthmark on your face, that, camouflage is definitely a route you would probably want to go if you had a birthmark on your face, but like lightening my skin on my torso, and it's such a big area too. One of the hard things about camouflaging is when you're doing such a big area, it involves a lot of blending, and it's really, really, really hard to get a convincing look. There's so many different attributes, whether it's shininess or the this tone, matching the tone of your other skin. And there's so many details in like the undertones, like the veins and whatnot. The camouflage, matching your other skin color is very difficult. And it's not a route that I take anymore. And yeah, it doesn't really match my philosophy anymore, to be honest. So it's nice to learn sort of makeup tricks, and it just, I don't know, that route is a hassle, and I've had a different view on it now. So the last route I want to mention is definitely my favorite route, and one I've pretty much settled on how to do something about it if you want to do anything about it, is to make it into artwork. So that doesn't just mean a tattoo. Of course, you can go to a tattoo artist, say, look at my birthmark, make a design, and call it a day. But there's a lot of different options that can give you color or additional pigment to make your birthmark into art. And yeah, nowadays tattoos are they're in style. So yeah, I'll be doing some more videos on the products that I like to make a birthmark into art, temporarily, without permanently tattooing. Will I ever actually tattoo it? I don't know yet. I mean, I kind of use the birthmark as a source of creativity to make different designs. So I'm really in this creative phase, and it's because of my birthmark. So I gotta give it that credit. And yeah, here I will share some pictures of the different art that I've done. And yeah, it definitely draws attention to your birthmark in a good way. People are like, wow, that's a really cool piece of art. Of course, sometimes they think it's real, and you have to clarify, oh, it's fake. But people are doing ink box all the time. So even if it's fake, people think it's cool still. So yeah, that's my story on living with Becker's Nevus. Definitely don't take this as medical advice, especially if you go the permanent routes like tattooing or lasers. But that's all for today. Hopefully this helps you if you do have Becker's Nevus. If you don't, hopefully this is informational and gives you a little story about my life. So there you go. Okay.